Okay, so you want to start by looking down at your feet. Let me take my socks off. And when you're checking in with your feet, you want to make sure you're grounding through the ball of your foot and your toes, the outer edge and your heel, and that you're making an effort to lift your arch. It really aligns your posture through your feet and up through your legs, your back, your shoulders, your neck. Everything benefits from paying attention to your feet holding onto the arch. So just kind of rock back and forth a little bit and find the weight through the outer edge, the ball, the toes, and the heels. And if that instruction does not register, we can review it in a different way. So from there, you want to make sure that you're not locking into the knees, which is a really natural pattern for a lot of us. So you want to soften the knees a little bit, and then you'll ignite the thighs, the glutes, and the calf muscles to hold your weight through your legs rather than locking into the joint, pressing into the cartilage in the knee. So you're getting a lot of benefits as well as relieving the possible damage you could be doing by locking the bones against the cartilage in the knee. Soften the knees. And then think about your thighs and feel strong up through your thighs. And then come into the place your Kegel muscles and gently engage them to lift. Zip up your lower belly and then press your belly button back towards your spine. So once you kind of feel all those three parts activating, soften them and just make sure they're engaging, not clenching or squeezing. From there, make sure that your hips and your lower ribs have some space, right? You want to be lifted in this space right here, but not doing this to the shoulders. So making sure your shoulders stay relaxed, you're open through here. You might need to tuck your tailbone under you a little bit if you tend to kind of poke your butt out. So just making sure that your tailbone's tucked under, you're lifted through the three parts of your core to protect your back and strengthen all these muscles here. So from there, lifting your shoulders, really exaggerate this. Inhale, lifting up toward the ears, and then exhale, press back and drop down. From the side, it looks like this. Inhaling up, exhale, pressing the shoulder blades back toward one another, and then dropping them down. One more time. Good. And then lastly, you want to make sure that your head's not moving forward and that your chin's just lifted so that you're level to the floor, not up, not down, just level. And then tuck your chin back just a little bit. Don't cut your airway off, but just make sure that your head is sitting right on top of your spine. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna flow through goddess posture. Now that you've got your mountain pose alignment, we're gonna take your feet out past your hips. Again, check in with your heels, make sure weight's dropping through your heels, the outer edge, the ball of the foot, and the toes, lifting up the arch gently. And we're gonna make sure that we're lifted through the core. Make sure that your pelvis is tucked under. We're gonna inhale and drop down and out with the arms. Tuck your hips backward so that when you come down, your knees stay aligned over the top of your ankles. If you don't tuck first and you just bend the knees, you're gonna come forward, and you see how my knees are going in front of my toes. We don't want that. So make sure that you sit back and drop down. Inhale, and then exhale, you're gonna push through your heels, your thighs, your glutes, squeeze your core, and you're gonna press your hands together as you exhale. So inhaling, you're pressing the hips down, keep your chest up, drop down, hold there for a second, and then press through your heels, your thighs, your glutes, squeeze your core, and you're blowing the air out as you come together. Inhale, floating down, and exhale, pressing up. Inhale, float down, hips back, then you drop into the knees, and exhale, press together. Release your hands down from there, roll your shoulders backward, and then roll them forward as well. Let your arms hang heavy and loose, and then just twist side to side so you're gently warming up your spine. Don't go too hard there. Beautiful. Come back to center. We're gonna take the hands to the hips, and you're gonna hinge from your hips, so letting your chest float forward. Let your head and neck hang, and just continue to come forward. Drop into your knees a little bit. Good. And then when you feel like you can reach the floor with your hands or your fingers, you can adjust. You can stretch the legs back out, straightening the knees, or you can keep them dipped, whatever works. Take your left hand in right underneath your face and then let your head and neck drop so you're nice and loose. So you should be looking behind you. Inhale, sweep your arm out to the side and up toward the ceiling. And here you're gonna stay for about 3 deep breaths. Let your head and your neck be as loose and not working as possible. Beautiful. And then as you're ready, take a deep breath in and exhale. Sweep your arm down and you're gonna switch hands. Plant the right hand this time and then inhale out the other way. Let your head and neck again rest. Feel your weight in your heels and your hips and then come into the space of your core again. So there's 3 parts of the core we're gonna visit through the whole practice. Lifting through the Kegel muscles, zipping up from the low belly, and then pressing the navel up toward the spine. Big inhale here, and then exhale, sweep down. Let your head and neck hang heavy and loose. And then we're gonna bring our palms up to the thighs. Keep your chin and your head tucked. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, begin to push through your heels, lift through your hips, roll yourself back up to standing. I have no idea if you could hear any of that because I was facing the opposite way. Beautiful. Again, rolling the shoulders, keeping everything loose. And then hang the arms and twist. Beautiful. Okay. So we're gonna come down to your mat and flow through cat and cow. So you wanna have your fingers spread out really wide and your intention is to get your weight to press through your pads of your fingers, the backs of your knuckles, the place where your knuckle connects to your hand, and the big fleshy part of your thumb. You wanna flatten your hand as much as you can to use the surface area. You wanna have your wrists somewhat underneath your shoulder and your knee somewhat underneath your hip. And then you're gonna press down through your shin and the top of your foot. So there's like relax and then pressing down. So then your weight can move through all of those spaces. So you're nice and supported. Inhaling, you tip your tailbone up and let your belly drop down. Stretch through your neck, lift your chin and your eyes. And then when you exhale, you'll tuck your tailbone under, round up through your shoulder blades, and let your chin drop down towards your chest. Inhaling, this is called cow. And exhaling, that rounded posture is called cat. Hold here, take your knees out toward the sides of your mat, bring your toes in toward each other, and let your hips shift back towards your heels, let your torso float down between your legs, and you can either have your arms extended with your forehead on your mat, or you could stack your hands and rest your forehead there, or you can stretch your hands back behind you. So any of those 3, this is child's pose. And here you want to take a few deep breaths. This is usually viewed as a restful posture. You're literally resting the front of your mind against the earth. Inhaling, see if you can inflate your back of your body, and then when you exhale, see if you can gently float your heart space towards your mat. Inhale, inhale, inhale to fill up the back of the body. And exhale, drop your heart towards your mat. One more time. If your hands are behind you, bring them around the front. Inhale, lift your forehead, eyes, and chin. And we're gonna walk back out to that tabletop posture that we were using for cat and cow. You might want to bring your left hand in a little bit. We're going to balance on the left hand or the right knee. So those are choices you have to make for yourself. How far you want the knee and the right knee and the left hand to be in or out. And then once you make that decision, plant firmly through those. And then we're gonna inhale, you're gonna lift up the left leg and the right arm. So flex your glute there. Good. Use those 3 parts of your core. And then as you exhale, come on down. So hold that for a couple of breaths, maybe 3 breaths, or you could just move it up and down. So I'll show you, kind of demonstrate that for you on this side. So inhale, moving up, exhale. Pull your elbow towards your knee. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Do one more. Exhale. So just decide whether you want to hold that or you want to move it, but do the same thing on both sides. Now, we're going to curl the toes under. Press back into your heels so that your knees are lifting up off the mat. Make sure you stay nice and solid and open through the shoulders. You can easily kind of shrink down into them. You want to make sure that that space is open so you're not straining the joint. Check in with your core, your pelvic floor or your Kegel muscles, and then the space between your pubic bone and your belly button lifting up and your belly button pressing up towards your spine. And then lift the hips up. You're not going to stay there that long. I'm just talking so much. Lift all the way up, beyond your toes, and then press your chest back towards your thighs, and then drop your heels down, and then pedal up and down if it feels good in the back of your legs. So at any point in time you need to get down from here, and I'm still up here, go down to child's pose and keep your head tucked down. Super important not to lift the head up quickly after you have a position where your heart is lifted up above your head. Good. Press back through both heels, nice and long through the back of the legs, and then inhale, float up onto the ball of the foot, the toes. Exhale, release your knees out to the sides. Keep your head tucked. Uncurl your toes and press your hips back. Child's pose. Rest. Again, those expansive breaths into the upper back feel really good. Inhale, lifting forehead, eyes, and chin. And we're going to stretch out long on the belly. Can you see me? Yep, okay. Bring your palms so that they're underneath your shoulders, and then bring your toes in toward one another so you're activating your legs. Press your hips into your mat, and then begin to inhale, peeling your chin and neck and chest up. Shoulders are moving back and down. And then exhale, float down. So you're gently pushing into the hands. Inhale, you're letting yourself peel up from the chin to the neck to the chest. And then exhale, floating down. One more time, inhale. And exhale, float down. Take your hands and stack them and rest. Let your legs rest too. Inhale, lift your forehead, eyes, and chin. Keep your left hand planted as it is, with your left elbow and left hand lined up. And then reach out your right arm. Spiral your heels in toward one another. Legs are in, tight and active. And then we're going to inhale, lift the right arm, left leg, flex the glute. Exhale, float down. Inhale, right arm, left leg. And exhale, float down. Inhale. And exhale. Do it one more time. And turn your cheek and rest. Other way. inhale, come on back to center. And since we did that on one side of the body, we have to do it on the opposite. Right hand stays planted this time. Inhale, extend that left arm out, spiral the legs together. Exhale, and then as you inhale, float left arm, right leg, flex the glute. Beautiful. So you're inhaling when you lift, and exhaling when you fall down. And one more time. Turn your cheek, rest your legs. Okay, so that was cat and cow, then child's pose, downward facing dog, cobra was that gentle back bend, and I don't really know what the name of that last thingy, I don't know if it has a name, but I think that should be enough for you to work on for now, and you can build on those and do as many as you want to in terms of reps, or start from the beginning and do all of it from the start again. But have fun with those, and I will be busy trying to create a better video.